When Insomniac Games released Ratchet & Clank: A Crack in Time back in 2009, many people regarded it as a modern gaming masterpiece. But ever since, it seems like Insomniac has taken a slight downhill slope, with games such as All for One, Full Frontal Assault, and well, the rest. So I was a little worried about their next game, Ratchet & Clank Nexus. Has Insomniac finally dropped the ball and lost their magic touch? Well, to sum it up, it was pretty obvious as soon as I started playing that the answer to that is no. Ratchet & Clank Nexus feels just as good as A Crack in Time, and for a 5-hour game, surprisingly manages to pack in quite a lot of new features. Speeding around levels with the hover boots feels just as awesome as ever, but finally having the ability to fly and explore is awesome, even if it does have its own limitations. And before you say you could fly around in Tools of Destruction, this is better. The game also seems to have taken leaves from a lot of other books. The new Clank sections are heavily similar to VVVVVV, as even though they're short and not very challenging, they're still a lot of fun. And it's kinda hard to separate Ratchet's new gadget to Portal 2's recursion funnel. But despite these new mechanics, Nexus does not feel like a cluttered game, like it had a million ideas but only time for some. The game flows just as well as any other Ratchet game, except it's quite a lot shorter. I managed to finish the story in little over 5 hours, but it's hardly left feeling like a rip-off as the price is considerably lower than a normal game. It's pretty fitting that Nexus was released so late in the PS3's lifetime, as it stands as the epilogue for the future trilogy. Returning again and possibly for the last time are Telwyn, Kronk, Zephyr, and all the other characters you've come to know and love. The new villains this time round are pretty interesting too, although I would have much preferred to see an older villain return, as they don't really get enough development or screen time for such a short game. Oh, and speaking of returning for the last time, I hate to say it, but Ratchet & Clank Nexus feels like a finale. Sure, there's a movie on the way, but what if that's just a way of seeing the franchise off? Nexus is surprisingly nostalgic at a lot of times, making references to the future trilogy and even before that, and the Ratchet & Clank games have never really been particularly nostalgic before, so why now? And I'm not saying that because I want it to end, you know, I mean, here's hoping this isn't the last game of the franchise, but this wouldn't be a terrible way to say goodbye. Ratchet & Clank Nexus is a surprisingly good game considering its length. The story does get surprisingly heavy at a few points, and I seriously give credit to Insomniac for having the guts in doing a couple of the things they did. Whether it's saying goodbye to the future series or the franchise as a whole, I'm gonna miss it. It's nice to see that Insomniac still know how to make a great Ratchet & Clank game, as Nexus is definitely a worthy entry into the franchise. Hey everyone, I hope you liked this review. I know it wasn't quite as in-depth or long and sketch-filled and maybe not quite as funny as usual, but if these reviews are shorter and I can spend less time making them, I can spend more time working on the big full-length reviews, as well as maybe reviewing some older PS3 games, some PS2 or 1 games, maybe doing more top 10s. The future's open. That's to say, the future's open. Yeah. Am I the only person that realised that no matter where you are in gravity, Ratchet's tail still hangs down? It really shouldn't bother me, but it does.